States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. Lori, can I get a roll call, please?
Here.
Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
All right. You will see the standing agenda item just to review and vote to excuse council member absences from prior meetings. Since we do not have any absences to address, we can move on to the next agenda item. We have an award presentation by Courtney New, Director of the Northern Kentucky Agency for Substance Abuse Policy.
My name is Courtney New. I'm the director for the Northern Kentucky Agency for Substance Abuse Policy. We're a state-funded board that works here in Northern Kentucky, helping to further efforts in substance use prevention, treatment, enforcement, and harm reduction. And so on behalf of Northern Kentucky ASAP, we would like to recognize the city of Ludlow for passing their comprehensive smoke-free ordinance earlier this year. We just want to express our appreciation for the city's commitment to community health, and we look forward to seeing how the smoke-free ordinance will impact the residents of Ludlow. So we just have this award. All right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. On behalf of us and council. Thank you. Right. So, Courtney, on behalf of the City of Ludlow, I want to sincerely thank you and the Northern Kentucky Agency of Substance for this recognition. The award is a reflection of our community's commitment to protecting public health and ensuring safe, welcoming spaces for our residents, families, and future generations. So thank you. All right, next on the agenda is to approve meeting minutes for September 11th, 2025 and September 25th, 2025. Do we have a motion to approve the meeting minutes for 9/11 and 9/25?
I'll make a motion to approve meeting minutes for September 11th, September 25th.
Thank you, Julie. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion passes. All right, and then we'll move on to staff reports, starting with Fire Chief Mike Stewart.
Thank you. Should have a copy of my report in front of you. We've been training a lot. We got several juniors and recruits that are getting ready to finish up recruit class at the end of the month, end of this month, so we'll have some more on that. Continue to work with the school to review their safety plan as they're going to construction. We assisted Covington with a structure fire on Walking Street. We did a CPR and AED class for 15 members of the staff at the Ludlow Independent Schools. We finished up our yearly hose testing. We had a few sections that passed or did not pass, so we're going to look at ordering some more hose. We participated in attended the first responders meeting for the bridge project to see how that's going to impact Ludlow with the traffic. Myself and the Chief Tech attended that. There'll be more to come. It's still kind of not releasing a whole lot of information yet. That's all I have.
Thank you for having the kindergarten class at your firehouse facility.
You're welcome, sir.
My grandson said the ladder was 75 feet.
It is. It's good.
Chief, I want to thank you for how you took care of me a couple weeks ago. Nicole and Eric were excellent, as well as everybody else. And I appreciate it very much. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Is the new hose already in your budget, or is that need to be accounted for?
Well,
Sorry.
it's a trick question because if I order it today, it'll be here next year. Yeah, that's like we just got some hose in that we ordered last October. It was about 52 weeks out. So yes, it's in there, but depends on when it comes in.
Wow. Are we okay then?
Yeah, so we're okay.
Okay.
we just need to look at replacing it, and by the time we go to test it next year, we may have some other stuff that fails, so instead of having, a ton to replace at one time, I'm just trying to do the ones that are failing and getting aged out. There are 2 sections that are covered under warranty that were sent back, so hopefully we'll get those back a little sooner.
Thank you, Chief. Now Shane Hammett, Public Works.
Thank you. I just want to let you guys know, taking the planters around the city, we're pulling those in and pressure washing them, painting them black, and we're going to put new fall flowers in. Should be seeing those sometime next week. Foundation for the amphitheater was poured. The walls should be poured next week also. That does have to sit before we can build anything else on that for another 30 days or so, and then we'll get the platform poured after that. We did the leveling work on Carlisle Field and the outfield, and on the infield. We finished the seed and straw. The grass has begun growing out there, so we're on track for using the field in the spring next year. Andy Wortman got us back the Albert S. Ludlow plaque, and it's refinished. It looks really good. We're going to install that on the concession building by the end of the month. Speed humps came in actually yesterday, so we'll be getting those installed on Oak Street. They're scheduled for the week of October 20th. We installed a new flashing stop sign at the north, or heading north on Adela at Linden Street. It's pretty all the top things on the report. If you guys have anything else you want to ask me about the rest of it.
No, but I do just want to thank you, Shane, because you've been extremely busy this month. It's much appreciated.
You're welcome.
Great. Thank you. All right, Jamie West, Code Enforcement.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. I did want to mention again, next weekend will be our fall cleanup here in Ludlow. So that will be at the corner of Ash and Traverse, as it is every other year. That will take place between 9 and 1, Saturday, October the 18th. I do appreciate everybody that's working the event to help make that possible. And I've mentioned this prior, guys, we will accept furniture, mattresses, any type of yard waste, including tires that we didn't accept in the past. If you bring paint, we do ask that is solidified. So that will happen next Saturday from 9 to 1. November 1st will be the Kenton County, Boone County, and Campbell County Household Hazardous Waste Collection event. That will take place at the Thomas More Stadium. That's at 7950 Freedom Way in Florence, Kentucky. Similar event, they will accept antifreeze, batteries, electronics, and light bulbs. For more information on that event, and that will be the last event of the year as far as cleanup goes, go to www.nkyhhw.org. Any questions for me this evening?
Yeah, you had mentioned 381 long-term and 25 short-term rentals. Have they all paid, or do we have any that haven't paid?
They have all paid, and those are the rentals that we know exist. We're down a little bit on our long terms this year. We're up on our long terms. We're down on our short terms a little bit. So approximately 6 units in total. So we were about 400 this time last year. So, thank you.
I see the Urban Design Review Board presentation. Is that with your report, Jamie?
I'm sorry?
The Urban Design Review Board presentation for Kalina's Corner, that is included here. Is there anything you wanted to mention about that? Or?
Other than the property next to the Burkus property that they will be opening, and you'll find that in my report in front of you, that they'll be opening soon. So Scott and I actually stopped in there today. So it's an interesting little business that, and a very nice girl that's running that as well. So Lucy Smith. So
Great.
she's very friendly.
Great. Thank you, Jamie. Police Chief Bart Beck.
You guys have my report. We had about 800 documented calls last month. A little over 650 of those were self-generated, leaving us with about 140 actual calls for emergency service. The OCD ME finally tracked down a little bit of the discrepancy between the report we generate here versus the report that dispatch sends us. This month we had 3, it's probably not that important, but I get OCD about it, and we had a discrepancy of 3 calls. I found that 2 of them were for well-being checks and 1 was a warrant. I have no idea why they're different because we draw the information from the same place. It drives me crazy, but I'll keep reporting both of them when they're different. Let's see, it's been a little bit of a unique month with personnel. We had Danny Hampton resign. He's going to another agency for quite a bit more money, and Zach Lindsley decided he wanted to come back. So it's actually saving us a little bit of money. We don't have to buy more uniforms and whatnot. It saves us a couple $1,000s on uniforms and whatnot, but I've never experienced that in my career, but it's a first for me. So he'll be back, I think Monday he starts. And that's about all I have, I think, unless anybody's got questions.
No, but I do want to thank both the fire department and the police department for participating in the walk and roll this week with the Ludlow organization. I appreciate you guys always doing that. Thank you.
Anytime.
If I have questions or concerns about kids and families crossing Elm Street after school, do I direct that to you or do I direct that to the school? I know there's an SRO, but I didn't know if he was under our purview or the schools.
It's probably easier to call our 261-8186 or the non-emergency number to dispatch. That way I know it's getting taken care of, it doesn't get lost. If I need to resort back to the school, I'll just forward it to the school. But if you start with us, that way we can make sure it's not forgotten about.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Chief Beck. All right. Next on the agenda is the mayor's report. There's a couple of things I wanted to touch on. So we recently celebrated 2 major milestones this past week. Riverfront Commons Phase 2 groundbreaking. This project will bring long-awaited improvements to our riverfront, including better connectivity, recreation, and the foundation for the future amphitheater. We also had the groundbreaking for Fisher Homes. Thank you to all that attended. That was with Fisher Homes and Ascendion, the groundbreaking for City View Station. This partnership represents a significant investment in Ludlow, and it'll bring new housing opportunities and add to our local economy and further strengthen Ludlow's role as a connected, growing river city. We're also working on modernizing the city council chambers, which some of these items Scott can further dig into. But we're moving forward with a comprehensive upgrade to our council chambers to improve accessibility, visibility, and overall experience for the public and council. There will be new seating for the public and council members, a new sound system to ensure everyone can hear proceedings clearly, improved lighting to make the space more functional and welcoming. These improvements reflect our commitment to transparency and making government accessible to all. I also wanted to address the new appointments and council seating. To provide clarity, here are the current committee assignments. Finance Committee, Ms. Guthrie and Mr. Chapman. Public Works and Code Enforcement Committee, Ms. Terry DeVar and Ms. Miller. Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee, Ms. Gracious and Mr. Ziegler. And these committees are advisory only, and all decisions come back before the full council for approval. Committee appointments are made with balance in the city's best interests in mind. For infrastructure and city improvements, several projects are moving forward to improve quality of life in Ludlow. Again, Scott can address these. Primarily one, the ADA ramp that we're discussing at Memorial Park, ensuring accessibility for all residents. Business district improvements are underway with updated trash cans, light poles, streetscape enhancements to support our local businesses and improve the look of our city. The speed humps that Shane addressed will be installed on the 400 and 500 blocks of Oak Street to improve neighborhood safety. And more upgrades are planned in the coming months, continuing our focus on both infrastructure and community spaces. Regarding community engagement and events, the Fall Fest was held this past weekend by CP Reeves. It was a great success, and thank you for everyone that participated. Cars and Coffee Trunk or Treat is October 12th at 1 p.m. in the City Building parking lot. It'll be a safe, family-friendly daytime event and a great way for families to enjoy our community together. The Family Resource Center is also hosting an event titled Reading Isn't Spooky. It's another trunk or treat on October 22nd at 5:30 p.m. This event focuses on reading, so please reach out to Amber Walls for more information. And in closing, my focus remains on the needs of Ludlow residents and businesses, from safer streets to improved accessibility to stronger community events. These investments and partnerships are about ensuring that we can all enjoy our city together today and in the future. And I want to thank our city staff, council members, and community partners for your continued hard work. Ludlow is moving forward with energy, vision, and a shared commitment to progress. We'll now move on to council committee reports, beginning with finance. Mr. Chapman, Ms. Guthrie?
Well, we met Wednesday. We signed off on the checks that were written in September. Everything was in order. For those that want to view those checks, they're always on our website under the financials. And then from there, you get to the month that you want to view. You can see what check was written and who it went to. In our general fund, and I'll round up, we have $836,000. In our savings account, we have $1.499 billion.
Yeah, I'll just add that I was very fortunate. I've been able to meet with Steve a couple times and learning about the current city process and hoping to kind of provide some of the expertise that I have, some of my professional experience, and be able to bring that to council and make sure that we've got a good infrastructure and process as we're looking at the budget, rounding out what we need to look at throughout the remainder of the 2025-2026 cycle, and then as we start to build out what that budget would look like for next year. So I'm excited to learn the process. I'm already learning a lot, and so hoping that I can provide some advice and expertise along the way as well. So
Amazing. Thank you.
excited to get started.
Yeah. All right, so Ms. Gracious and Mr. Ziegler for Parks and Rec.
I defer to Paula here because she did it all this past week.
Again, at Fall Fest, I thought went very well. Thank you to Shane in Public Works for being on the spot at the last second for some much needed assistance. But I thought it went well. We had, I think, if I had to guess, I would say we had somewhere between 400 and 500 people on Helen Street during the course of the event. We did a lot of free stuff for the kids. We had games, face painting, free pumpkins. I can tell you I bought 900 prizes for the games, and I have 5 tattoos left. So quite a few did more than one game, which was fine. We had 4 set up. And Julie was my tag-on partner on that, thank goodness, because it took both of us, and then when John got there, we were all busy. So, but I thought it was a very good turnout. I'd say everybody seemed pleased. And I'm looking forward to next year and starting much earlier than 10 days out to make it happen.
I can attest to how much hard work.
Moving on to the Christmas parade. So we have a date and time on that, and the committee will be meeting, and I see the police department has already put out, Amanda's already put out the call for Stuff the Cruiser, and so that's already moving. So the Christmas parade will be Saturday, December the 13th, and we will start the parade at 5:45.
Falls on my birthday this year, which is amazing.
Oh, and another thing,
December 13th.
we have some I have lined up two of our young students at the school that are making bracelets or keychains, little things, and I'm hoping to get a few more of them to set up so we can showcase our kids at this event. The 2 little ones that I have talked to, their parents and them, they're super excited, and they've already started making stuff, so they'll have plenty. But if you know of any kids that are crafting or painting or whatever and would want to participate, I think this will be a good idea to put the showcase on that.
I'd like to just say thank you to Paul for all the work she's done, not only with the Fall Fest, the parade coming up, and just the things she's been dealing with in her health. She's done a remarkable job. I appreciate it very much. I think everybody does.
I have to say that I appreciate Paula as well. And when we were down at Fall Fest, you and Julie were both sweating it out. And thank you for that. Thank you for the hard work that went into that. All right. So thank you. We're moving on to Public Works Code Enforcement, Ms. Terry Navarre and Ms. Miller.
I met with the Public Works and Code Enforcement because our new assignments hadn't come out yet. We were still in the interim. So in Public Works, we talked about some of the businesses in the business district have had their facade painted recently, and it looks super nice. We also talked about the need for updated descriptions of what rubbish and what excessive growth is, so that people have a better understanding of what they're being receiving notifications for. For Public Works, we reviewed the tree ordinance one more time before it went to council the last time, and now we will have a second reading tonight in an attempt to approve that. And then we also talked about Carlisle and the progress we're making on Carlisle and the possibility of being able to section a little piece of that off to make a very primitive dog park so that we can meet that need for the city.
Amazing.
That's it.
All right. Thank you, Julie. All right, next we'll move on to the City Administrator's Report. Scott?
There's a lot here this time around. We met with Finance yesterday to kind of hash out some of the numbers and go through some stuff. For the most part, the numbers are on there. I will say that some of these are very tentative numbers because we're waiting for quotes to come back, so some of them are just rough estimates. I will say that first and foremost. The business district, she talked about a little bit, and Shane kind of suggested, which I thought was a good idea, to reuse the planters instead of buying new planters, which were between $600 and $800 a piece. So by painting these and reflowering and stuff, we're going to put them out, kind of get a feel for what everybody thinks about them and how they, how they look in place. If it works, great, we save a lot of money. If not, then it is what it is. So that's one of those costs that, like I'm saying, may be added later. We're estimating about a $35,000 facelift to the business district, which is really to beautify and do those things. Later in the report here, you'll see talking about light poles. South Bank hopefully will pick up the $48,000 light pole bill, which they're going to. We're just hashing out the exact lights we're going to get, the order times, things like that, so they don't just come in tomorrow. So we are against some of the shipping is going to be as far as timeline, so it's very hard to say in a month we're going to have X, Y, and Z done. I would say between now and spring it will be done. I would like to see the majority of it done before Christmas, and then probably the light poles after Christmas is probably what you're going to see in that. Hollingsworth Field, you should see the lights hopefully coming up soon. We're pushing that one pretty hard. We're going to put lights out there so the school and us and everybody stays Title IX compliant. The school picked up the last bill at the park, and with the deal that we would pick up either lights or a press box. We thought the lights are a better bang for the buck for the school and the community, so the lights are the ones that we're working on. I'd like to say with all this, I'm asking everybody to be patient because I'm putting an extreme amount of workload on Shane and Jamie and some of these people and Lori and everybody, because we do so many multitasks that we really have to work around the schedules of mowing and all these other things to get these things installed. So, forgive us if weather and things like that happen and it doesn't happen right away. This list is put out amongst everybody, so we will be constantly chipping away at it, and hopefully we can get these things done as timely as possible. The mayor also mentioned the ADA ramp. That was one we've heard for a while, and we didn't get great prices a couple of years ago. We did install the 2 handicap spots back behind the field where Hollingsworth and people can park and go. But we do understand when you come off Elm Street, it is difficult with strollers and stuff. So we think we got it worked out, and the cost of that is about $25,000. I was told it wouldn't go over $25,000. That's That's the prayer that it stays that way, just so you know what that will look like when you're looking at the memorial from Elm Street. This main stairs that go down to the memorial go over, say, 10 or 15 feet to the right. And that's where the ramp will start, and it will go over toward the house to the east. And then it will zig back down toward the concession stand. That way they can bring the dirt right there. That ramp is out of the way. It doesn't go directly to the memorial, but it still puts them right there in the middle of the park. That is probably the least expensive. By far, we don't have to zigzag 3 times or switchbacks. We're able to bring in dirt and build that area up, and we don't have to destroy all those trees. Those trees would have to cut down right there in front of the wall. So that will be happening sooner than later. Let's see. We're looking at pricing steel archways or entryways. Jamie's got one on his desk right now, a picture of it. That when you're entering into the city, for instance, when you're coming into the city on the highway, coming from Covington, when you come under that train trestle, right before you come there, hopefully there'll be a beautiful arch that comes over it that says, "Welcome to Ludlow Business District." And then the 2 other ones when you're into Bromley, and hopefully Sleepy Hollow will say, "Welcome to Ludlow." Just a little more grandiose, a lot more to where people know they're entering our city versus these small little signs on the side. That's one we're still waiting for pricing to come back. So 3 might end up being 3 could be 2, but we're going to do what we can with that one. Speed humps, he's already talked about. You'll see those coming up here very soon. Carlisle Field, they've done a phenomenal job getting that ready. The one thing that wasn't mentioned is the bleachers down at Memorial that are down there around the skate park and stuff will be moved over there to Carlisle, so they'll have their own set of bleachers going there, and then new bleachers will go into Memorial as Southland's paying for it, put down their solo tour there at the basketball court. Along with that will also be a fence that will go around it to section it all. Amphitheater, they're going to move on that as fast as they can to get it done. With the amphitheater, we're also looking at putting 2 really nice family swings that overlook the river. They'll be having kind of little cement slabs that they'll be on. They'll space a little bit away from the amphitheater a little bit. There'll also be 2 outdoor picnic tables nearby with charcoal grills. So it kind of gives you your own little area closer to the river, near that amphitheater, so families can go and have a little grill out over here, a little grill out there, and separate themselves maybe from the playground and all that area. And it'll be its own little park within the park. And those things are also timeline, depending on how hard Shane can work or if he doesn't die beforehand.
I'm in the process of cleaning myself right now.
Yeah. Trying to see what else we got here. One of the things I didn't put on here on the report, one of the suggestions were baby changing stations in the bathrooms, so we'll look at pricing that and what that looks like. Obviously, because plastic tears up so easy, we got to figure out how that would be metal or something to that effect. But that is one suggestion going into the concession stand building for parents. We were talking about a beautification fund for the business district. We have a facade program right now that goes through the state. The businesses and people within the business district can apply for it. It's pretty restrictive on what people can do, so a lot of times they're turned down. So what we're talking about doing is possibly in the spring and the fall, if you're within that corridor, offering a reimbursement program to encourage businesses to have nice window box flowers and do their own beautification. They come with the receipts and pictures, and the city reimburses them $150, $200 in each spring and fall. So that way it encourages them to also beautify on top of what we're doing. So we're looking at if that's possible, how we'll run it, policies around that, but hopefully we'll have that going by spring. We're going to start doing more ribbon cuttings for new businesses in the area. I know that's been done in the past. It's kind of been dropped off to hopefully encourage and businesses and kind of spotlight them a little bit as well. We're also, one of the administrative tasks I'm looking at is we're going to take our part-time community center coordinator position into a full-time position. With that said, it does have to go in front of you guys for an approval to add a full-time position to the list. It doesn't currently exist. We have part-time, which is Jenny McMillan, and so what we're looking is hopefully we can make her or someone a full-time position and expand those responsibilities to website stuff, controlling the website, updating, working social media, as far as what we do here, and really putting out daily or weekly events. That person also will help with coordinating and running events, so instead of you guys killing yourself to do it, this person will be our go-to person that helps set it up, and they talk to the businesses, donations, things like that. So it'll be a very big responsibility for the person taking that position. But like I said, and just so you know, I put a $52,000 in her salary. That is pretty average, kind of on the low end of what other cities are paying their coordinators to do. Looking at any moving payments in places like that, some of those are making close to 60s. So 52, I see things to be kind of on the low end, but I think it's a fair number for that position. Also would have to be agreed upon with you guys to go into that salary scale or that pay scale. If that's the case, I'm going to hopefully have that proposed and ready for the already talked about the modified facade. There's a lot going to go on in here. We're hoping to get it all done. She touched on it earlier, talking about the sound systems, things like that. We met with the engineer and salespeople today. They had a lot of suggestions. Kind of asked them to go back to the drawing board. We'd like a couple more suggestions and ideas as far as what that's going to look like. Obviously, we're trying to get it as cheap and as affordable as possible, but if we're going to do it right, it's going to cost a little bit of money, right in that $30,000 range. That is only the sound and all that stuff. One thing she didn't mention earlier is they actually have an ADA proponent to this sound thing, so if you have hearing aids and things like that, they have devices that will help to enhance your hearing for people that have issues and everything. And it's one of those things that we're definitely going to keep in the program. That's a work in progress, along with the painting of the whole space and what we can do with the seating and stuff. The seating is probably the biggest question in this because the slant floor complicates things. Getting seating that fits here is very difficult. So we'll see what happens with that. That's a lot to digest.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything for me on the current stuff?
I have one quick question on the light poles.
Yes.
Will they have flag brackets?
Yes. So there's a couple options we're looking at. And there's a permanent flag bracket and flag pole that we can get. And then there's also, I think it's Bellevue does one where they have an attachment that they add to it as well. So you can go one flag or add a second. So not everyone has two poles. So we're looking at making this as usable as possible and not restrictive. So if we get them with one pole and one flower thing, but we have these attachments we can put on it to say, hey, we're going to have two veterans flags or whatever. Also, the planters, some of them have these attachable attachments that go around the poles about midway to mid-level that are for planters and stuff. And you can add flowers around some of the poles. So we're trying to make this to where it's
Okay.
you won't have to do this for another 20 years, hopefully.
Well, I've had people reach out about the flags, and
Yes.
that's been on my list for a few years now, but our poles really don't.
No, and the
Can't do
problem
it
we have
right
with
now.
these too is if they break off, there's no replacement. So that was the thing we're talking about on these last, the ones we're looking at, is if it gets broken off or something happens, how easily is it to be replaced? Can you replace it or can you buy one? Because the current poles out here now are from China. So getting a replacement or getting someone to weld, aluminum is pretty difficult. So we're trying to be smart this time.
Okay.
That's why it's taking a little time.
That's all right.
Anything else?
All right, thank you, Scott. All right, next, we'll move on to citizens wishing to address the mayor and council. Public comment is welcome, limited to 3 minutes per citizen. Please approach the podium, state your name and address, and remain respectful. All right, looks like we don't have any comments. All right, before we move into new or old business, I want to remind council of the proper process for abstaining. Any member wishing to abstain must declare their intent before discussion begins, step out of the chamber before the discussion and vote, and then may return after the item concludes. A note will be added to the minutes, and that member will not be counted towards quorum for that vote. Please keep in mind that under Kentucky case law, simply remaining in the room and saying abstain means your vote must be counted with the majority. This process ensures our abstentions are fair, consistent, and compliant with the law. All right, so we'll move into unfinished business with a second reading of ordinance 2025-14.
Absent an attorney, I'm going to read it for you. It's an ordinance of the City of Ludlow in Kent County, Kentucky, adding Section 97 to the city's code of ordinances to establish standards for maintaining the city's trees and establishing penalties for damaging city trees. Whereas the City of Ludlow owns a number of trees and city property, the maintenance of which is the city's responsibility, whereas there currently exists no guidance for the Public Works Department by which they maintain those trees, and whereas the Ludlow City Council desires to promote and foster the preservation, growth, and planting of trees within the city. Now therefore be it ordained by the City of Ludlow in Kent County as follows that Section 1, the City Council hereby approves and adopts the text amendments in Chapter 97 City Code of Ordinances, which are attached in Exhibit A and are incorporated by reference herein. The Ludlow City Council finds the text amendments are necessary to promote planting and maintenance of trees in the city and are in the best interest of the city. Section 2, all ordinances in conflict with the ordinance shall be and hereby are repealed to the extent of said conflict. Section 3, if any part of this ordinance or its application is deemed invalid by the court of competent jurisdiction, the City Council intends that such invalidity will not affect the effectiveness of the remaining provisions of applications, and to this end, the provisions of this ordinance several. Section 4, this ordinance shall become effective upon its passage and shall be published under KRS 83A 060, Section 9, and other applicable laws. The ordinance may be published in summary.
All right, do I have a motion to approve?
I will make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Julie. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Steve. Lori, can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
Ms. Gallagher? Yes. Ms. Terry Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yep.
Mr. Ziegler?
Yes.
Ms. Gracious? Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes. All right, moving on, there is no new business, so we'll move on to announcements. Ms. Gracious, we'll start with you. Okay. Other than the Christmas tree, yes. Okay. Mr. Ziegler?
Good.
All right. Ms. Miller?
I just have a question about the budget thing I brought up last time.
It was a typo. It was. So, I think it was 2024. I said that a little bit. We had 50-something thousand, it was 64. The projection would be 64. I don't think I did that, but it was a typo. That went through.
Was that in the budget that council approved in June, I assume?
Yes. Yes.
So what do we do about that?
So, I meant to talk about this earlier. Before we go through all these process, especially the hiring of the new person and stuff, so when we do this, I got to amend the budget and reconcile it anyway. So hopefully I will have the first reading of that and the amendment and all the changes. I'm actually going to take and highlight I'll give you the copy of the old budget and highlight the changes and where they came from. And most of, or not most of them, let's say about half of these, there's already a line for them. There's just not enough money to make these things happen. Some of it there is, like the lighting, swing, some of that is already accounted for in our parks budget. I already knew I was doing that, so that's fine. But there's several things in here that aren't, so I'm going to have to create a new line for them. That will also be highlighted. So, for instance, that position will be highlighted in salaries if we add that position. So you'll be able to see what it was, what the new adds, and what the mistakes were. So the changes to salary, we'll add one. So you should see both of them coming to the next one for the amendment to happen. First reading or whatever in November. If you have a second reading or special meeting in December, it'll be passed and done. So we have that reconciled, finished budget to work off for all this new stuff. Or the new position that would start probably in January.
Is that going to affect anything? I mean, that was like $570,000 off, so for our.
Well, it was 300-something thousand. Doing the math on it, just to kind of talk about a lot of this stuff. With the compensating plus two that you guys voted on, it's about $150-something thousand that we'll bring in. If everything goes according to plan going into this next year, we will break even on budget. There won't be extra, we won't make money, we won't be throwing any more into savings. It just isn't going to happen. With that little discrepancy plus all these purchases and this whatever, we're going to have to be very careful about spending going from January to June to make sure that we play out just right. And we'll probably break even budget, no extra money thrown in savings. That's what we're looking at.
Did you have anything else, Ms. Miller? No. We're moving on to Ms. Terry Navarre.
Just a reminder, coffee is Sunday at 1 o'clock. Last year, we had a plethora of cars and everybody had candy, so bring your little people down and get some candy.
Ms. Guthrie?
I just wanted to give some thanks and kudos to everyone. Everything from like Lori getting me set up with my emails and meeting with all of the my fellow council members. So if we haven't connected, I look forward to connecting. And then once I get through that first round, I'm hoping to reach out to department heads as well and just start to meet with some of you. So just thanks for everyone for being so welcoming and assisting with the onboarding piece. And then, yeah, just with the additional finance piece and just kind of elaborate further, Abby, on your question, I've asked Scott as well to just kind of keep us in the loop as like those additional quotes come through so that as we get to, if we need to do the budget reconciliation piece, we'll have a good sense of whether or not, if those are going to be, just adjustments from other general fund line items, or if we're going to have to look at additional appropriations for those things and have those conversations as we start to get those quotes in. And see what those are actually going to look like as they hit the line items. So hoping to keep everyone apprised of that information as we get it through the process.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Steve? Nothing? Okay. All right, then the next order of business is adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right. The motion carries. The meeting's adjourned.